That's sunrise going on behind me. It's about 6:30 a.m. Left Key West at about 4:45. I'm just off of the Marquesas, and I've got the Pulaski family with me, and they are in various cabins below inside Aria, out cold. They drove down from West Palm Beach this morning, got to the boat at about 4, packed up, took a quick little nap, and now we're rocking. Going about 7 knots, at about 20 knots of wind, so we're cruising. It's gonna be a good trip. We're on our way to the Dry Tortugas. Gonna stay there for a few days, do some diving, and show them the fort, get a quick tour, and then they're gonna take the ferry back to Key West, which is gonna leave me alone with Aria. It's just a single day, easy do. I've just never done it before, so it's time to check that box. Dry Tortugas on Aria.
I can't explain it, but some people are just born for adventure. They hear the calling, and they're compelled to get off the couch and see what's around the corner or over that horizon. I'm going on this quest to prove that the heart of history's greatest explorers and adventurers is alive and well today. This is your invitation to
escape from reality.
Parents, jumping in the water? I think we're gonna pass. You're a wise man.
The last little bit of land before you reach the Dry Tortugas are the Marquesas Keys. The Marquesas were named after Marquis de Cadereyta, who was the commander of the 1622 Spanish treasure fleet that included the very famous shipwreck, the Nuestra Señora de Atocha, the Santa Margarita, and the Nuestra Señora del Rosario. Now the Atocha sank in the middle of a hurricane, and out of the 265 sailors that were on board, only 5 survived to tell the story. The ship broke up and gradually sank as the hurricane pushed her across the seabed, depositing a valuable cargo up to $650 million worth of Spanish gold remained on the ocean floor for hundreds of years, until it was discovered by Mel Fisher and his treasure hunting crew.
I swam out to have a look around with a metal detector, swam maybe 60, 70 feet, and saw like a small reef arise on the bottom. Took the metal detector and waved it over the top and got a big scream all the way across the top of it. Took a closer look and looked like silver bars and ballast stones all over. So I went back and got Andy as fast as I could.
Got a pile of silver bars. It's like a reef. There's bars scattered all in the reef.
Mel Fisher, go to your office. You've just found the mother lode.
In Key West, there's the Mel Fisher Museum dedicated to this find, and there's several shops in Key West dedicated to displaying and even selling treasure from the ship. But when you sail by, you don't know that you're sailing over the remains of what could be hundreds of millions of dollars of gold that still lies on the ocean floor. Because as rumor has it, they only found a third of what was on the original manifests in Madrid, Spain. So as we were passing south of the Marquesas, the wind was coming at us from the north. But once we poked our nose out of the protection of the Marquesas, the weather and sea state started to reflect that 20-knot wind. And as predicted by Windfinder earlier in the day, those 4-foot seas showed up as predicted. Catamaran never gives it justice. 42-foot Aria was getting tossed around like the SS Minnow.
The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the Minnow would be lost. The Minnow would be lost.
But the Pulaskis were into it. They settled into the fact that they're sailing in a washing machine. When this happens, everybody typically finds their little place on the boat where they can relax, hold on tight, and ride it out. I started to think, this isn't exactly what they signed up for. Sometimes Poseidon wants to throw a little bit more adventure at you than you anticipate. So it's time to harmonize with the waves and be water.
Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
And right on time, maybe about 5 minutes before the idea of mutiny started to take hold, and a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. Land ho, Fort Jefferson.
Your support is putting wind in our sails so that you can share these adventures with you.
Okay, the rain's up. Jolly Roger's flying. I'm here, and I just need to make it around this little point here where channel marker 3 is blocking my way. And there she is right there. Once I make it around channel marker 3, I'll be able to fill the sails back up, and then it'll be smooth sailing.
We are in the Dry Tortugas, and I'm cutting an onion.
I've been dead right around there, but my fearless captain got me here in due time, and I'm alive, and I have a drink.
What?
And I'm about to be fed chicken wings, and life could not be better.
The Dry Tortugas is a small archipelago of coral islands about 70 miles due west of Key West. Now, this is the westernmost extent of the Florida Keys, and this is the 3rd largest reef in the world. And this reef itself creates the Gulf of Mexico. And in the center is Fort Jefferson, an old Civil War fort built in the late 1860s. This thing is basically impenetrable, and it rises out of the ocean like Camelot high on a hill in gleaming red brick, surrounded by azure blue water. What's cool about this park? Not only the way it looks, but it's basically the Caribbean. There's Caribbean birds, Caribbean sea life, Caribbean temperatures, Caribbean coral, and all kinds of Caribbean pelagic fish. And I can get there with my new boat? Okay, this is an adventure I'm signing up for. I'm thinking the next time the phone rings, I'm going to see if I can't pitch this adventure to the next person who wants to go on a sailing adventure.
My second trip to Fort Jefferson, first one with my family. We had a blast, we had a nice downhill run, and we're going to go eat some lunch and go snorkeling. So the wreck of the Full Moon. Full Moon was the name of our boat that we sailed from Pensacola, Florida to Isla Mujeres, Mexico in the biannual Regata del Sol. And every verse is pretty literal in its story, and it was quite the trip when our boat caught on fire and wanted by the police, made the front page of the paper, made it back in a burnout boat, got checked out by the Coast Guard on the return, dropped fuel from the Coast Guard because we were about to run out of fuel, but saw dolphins every night in front of the bow with the most wonderful fluorescent light show of all time. But we made it back, and it was a wonderful trip. Adversity builds character. We set sail in June on a ship called Full Moon, headed 180 degrees. The race it did head us to Isla Mujeres, and did on a 30-knot breeze. The crew did consist of the motliest list of sailors, salty as sea. Tom was the captain and Liz was the mate. There was Dave, Sean, Bubba, and me. We were tacking for days over 20-foot waves, crashing down over each crest. The halyards were howling, the shackles were shaking, the mast wrenching round in its rest. All wet with ocean, Maldemare from the motion, the crew was quiet and slow. Crisscrossing the rum line, trying to make time, but we still had a long way to go. Then the winds died, the seas did subside, we were sitting still in a calm. The captain and Liz went below for their biz and then came up and said, "Turn it on." All of the mob put their hands on the knob that put the old diesel in gear. 'Cause we always claimed that fun was the aim and the race was abandoned that year. We were steaming along with the radio on, then there was call for a tow. So we turned around and the dead boat was found, we pulled them to Mexico. We got there at midnight, Horry held up the spotlight, guided us into our slip. At the start of it all, I had no idea it'd be such a hell of a trip. We spent 3 days of fun in the Mexican sun, up at Bujo's watching babes on the beach. We had lobster for lunch and dolphin for dinner and grande cervezas at Reach. On an overnight junket to Cancun, the crew went to see the ruins of Tulum. Some of them made it, some of us stayed at the bar called Tequila Boom. At Tequila Boom, our heads they did swoon. We were dirty dancing with dykes. Free flowed the liquor and Tattoo got sick. For $800 took a hike. On the way back from Cancun, I saw the Full to the skies, and our little ship had caught fire. Well, the bilges were flooded, the cabin was gutted, but the hull and the rigging were sound. So against the orders of the port captain, we snuck out and were northward bound. We were dodging the shrimpers, avoiding our capture, and then the old diesel broke down. But I got it started, we had a party, it was good to be out of that town. Well, Liz had jumped ship, Bubba gave us a slip, but Kevin was shanghaied instead. We caught dolphin for dinner and dolphin for lunch, and dolphin was all that we had. We spent 5 days on deck, down below was a wreck, and our diesel about to run dry. So by Falcon Jet from the Coast Guard we met, he dropped us some fuel from the sky. We got back to Point Clear, our friends they did cheer, it was good to be back in the slip. At the start of it all, I had no idea it'd be such a hell of a wonderful trip.
Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.
Escape from reality.